Today I am at 35,000 miles in the air. I'm actually on board a Virgin Atlantic flight from London to Seattle. But I wanted to make this video because I'm having afternoon tea. Yay! So here's the menu, and it says, quite amusingly, that this is Mile High afternoon tea. Technically, I guess it is. Not the sort of Mile High you were thinking of, so put that out of your mind. So this Mile High tea, it all comes in one go, and it doesn't come on a platter or a tier or anything like that. It comes on a nice tray. But I think, they've done quite a good job, and I wanted to make this video because I've made a lot of afternoon teas, and I've done some unusual ones, and this is probably one of the most unusual. So I thought I'd share it with you. A little bit of fun, a bit different to normal. So let's start with the savoury course. Now it's a bit smaller than normal. We've only got 3 sandwiches, which I think is probably the least I've ever had. Normally you get 4 or 5, sometimes even 6. But we've got 3 today, which is fine. And 2 of them are the same, which I think is the first time I've had an afternoon tea where they've repeated the sandwiches without giving me a refill. So we've got this one is ranch chicken on malted bread. So I think ranch chicken means that it's probably got some sort of dressing in there as well. But the bread looks pretty decent, and there's a good amount of filling in there. Let's see what it tastes like. That's actually quite nice. I've had a lot worse sandwiches than that. There's quite a lot of good amount of chicken in there. Really tasty, really lean. I like that. Surprisingly good. Now, there's only English breakfast tea available, and you get it in a Virgin mug. But I don't mind tea in a mug. I used to get quite a lot of it. Just got black, it's quite strong. See how that goes down with the chicken ranch sandwich. Not a bad cup of squash. Yeah, that's all right. I mean, given the fact that we are flying over the Atlantic Ocean, I think that's okay. Right, let's get on to sandwich number 2. Let me read off the menu, I'll tell you what it is. So it says pickle and sliced cheddar cheese on white bread. So this is what it looks like. You can see a little bit of the pickle in there, a little bit of cheese. The filling looks a little bit skimpy. There's a lot of bread compared to this filling, but let's see what it tastes like. I like a bit more cheese on my cheese and pickle sandwich. That is a little bit too thin for me. 3 or 4 slices would have been better. Tastes okay. I could definitely have made a better one than that. And it's always disappointing when you eat out and you think, I could have done better. What's the point? So the chicken one was good. The cheese one, not too good. Okay. I will put these to one side for a moment, and actually I'm going to eat the rest of those, and I'll see you in a moment for my favourite part of any afternoon tea, the scone. Okay, the sandwiches are all done. In terms of can you get a refill? Well, actually you can here, because a lot of people on this plane aren't actually having this meal because they're asleep, because I'm on a 9.5-hour flight to Seattle. It's an 8-hour time difference when you get there, so a lot of people are getting some rest, but I'm not, because I wanted to soldier on and have this afternoon tea. As soon as I saw it on the menu, I thought, I've got to have that. It's now time for the scones, but unfortunately it's not scones today, it's scone singular, not plural. But that's fine. This isn't a full afternoon tea, it's a sort of pared down version. So I've got my 1 scone. It is warm now. If I put it on my cheek, that's still nice and warm. And it looks okay, actually. It feels quite light, and it's quite hard on the outside. The key question is, can I break this? Because if you follow me, you'll know that you don't cut your scones. There is a knife here. I've got a knife and fork in here, but if you're going to do scones the proper way, it's going to have to break. So can I break this? I don't know. It looks like there's a bit of a seam. Let's see whether I can break it without it shattering. It's tricky. You're going to have to be quite skilled with this one. Oh, I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to have to cut it. It's going to break. It's definitely going to break. So I'm going to go against my own rule and cut it with a knife. So I think otherwise it's just going to be in pieces. So even cutting it with a knife, it might break. Yeah, it's breaking up. Very crumbly scone. Oh no. Okay, I've managed to cut it. You can see this piece is already starting to break. So I guess if you're at 35,000 feet and it's been reheated just now, it probably does make it more fragile, but the bottom bit's okay. Now it's not a fruit scone, as you can see, it's just an ordinary scone. So let's see what it tastes like. Now, in terms of the jam and the cream, we've got a couple of usual suspects here. So this is Wilkin and Sons that I've had on many previous afternoon teas. So quite a lot of teas in London serve this, usually a slightly bigger jar than that. And this is strawberry jam. So I've had that before, it's quite good. And the clotted cream is the most famous one in the UK if you're buying a brand. It's Rodder. So I've had that plenty of times before as well. And it looks pretty good. It's got a nice crust on the top. You can see it's sort of a lot dark yellow on the top. That means it's sort of crusted over a little bit. Now, which way round to do the jam and the cream? So, as you know, if you put the cream on first, that's the Cornish way, cream first and jam second, relating to Cornwall, the county in England. If you put, sorry, that's the Devon way. Oh, got it wrong. If you put the jam on first and the cream on top, that's the Cornish way. Now I prefer jam first because if I put the cream on first, I sort of feel like I'm having a sandwich, like it's just putting butter on bread. Whereas if I put jam on, if I'm making a jam sandwich, I don't put the jam on first and then the butter on top. So it feels like I'm doing something that's just for scones. So it's only when I'm having scones do I put the jam first and then the cream second. So I'm going to put a good amount of cream on here to try and keep it together because it is breaking up a little bit. So what's it like? The jam and the cream, great, really tasty, good strong strawberry flavour. That cream, really nice. The scone, it's not the best scone I've ever had, let's face it, but it's all right. It works. The only problem with it is breaking up, so I'm going to have it in little pieces and it's going to be a bit messy. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll see you in a moment for the cakes. And it's double, it is a plural, there are 2 cakes. I'll see you for that, but I'm going to have a little bit more of my tea. See you in a minute. So the scone is gone, I've had that, and it's now time for the cakes. And we've got a couple of options here. So we've got a strawberry and vanilla Battenberg. Let's start with that. Now, if you've been following me, you'll know that I'm not a huge fan of Battenberg if it tastes too much of almonds. Not really my favourite, but quite colourful. And it's strawberry and vanilla. So I'm hoping it does taste of strawberry and vanilla rather than marzipan. Yeah, it's a sort of mixture of strawberry and vanilla and marzipan. It's better than a standard Battenberg, but I'd still prefer a different type of cake, I think. Yeah, I'm still very Battenbergy, so I'm going to have a bit of tea, I think, to just cleanse the palate after that one. So I've got this, save the best until last. This is a chocolate fudge eclair. Now, I've not had a chocolate fudge eclair before, it looks quite good. Actually looks like it's got some gold leaf on the top. Everybody loves a bit of gold leaf. Not sure why we're eating gold, but we are. Quite fudgy. I'd say more fudgy than chocolatey. It's not bad. I think I've probably had worse cakes, probably, somewhere at some of the afternoon teas I've been to. A little bit more tea to wash that down, I think. Okay, so what's my overall assessment of this afternoon tea, mile high tea, here at 35,000 feet above the Atlantic Ocean on Virgin Atlantic? Well, clearly it doesn't really compare to most of the afternoon teas I've been to. This is sort of, it's apples and pears. But in terms of the price, let's talk about the price, because that's always an important factor. You have to weigh up how much this tea's cost. Well, this one was absolutely free because I paid my price for my ticket. I've had some food already. This is just included as part of my fare. So when I'm paying £0, 0 pence for something, I can look at it in a slightly better light than if I'd paid for this. I certainly wouldn't have paid any money for it. So from that point of view, yeah, not bad. What about the food? Well, the sandwiches obviously were a bit limited. There was only 3 and 2 of them were the same and one of them wasn't very nice. The scone, the jam and the cream was good. Scone, it was all right. It broke up a little bit. I had to cut it. A bit disappointing, but it worked. It did the job. And the desserts, the cakes, well, I don't really like Battenberg, so I didn't really like that one. And the chocolate fudge eclair, probably wouldn't have that again. So overall, I think the best part of the afternoon tea was the tea. What's my score for this afternoon tea? Yikes. Well, given the fact that it was free, I'm going to bump it up a little bit. I'm going to give it... Whoa there, Joe. Just hold off with that score. As you can see, I'm now in Seattle. This is the most famous landmark in Seattle, this Space Needle. And I've been thinking about that score, and I think I was a bit too harsh. I was actually benchmarking the Mile High afternoon tea against all of the other teas that I've had in places like the Ritz and the Dorchester and the Savoy. And obviously that's not a fair comparison because we're talking about a meal that's served on board an aircraft that has to be prepared a long time in advance. And also it's mass produced for all of the people on the plane. There were 200 odd people on that plane. So I don't think that was really the right benchmark. And actually when I spoke to a lot of the other passengers, they really loved it. They thought it was fantastic, particularly the people who don't have afternoon tea very often, maybe some of the American passengers. They thought it was a really nice touch. And looking back on it, I agree with them. I think it was a really nice thing to do because the other thing that you get given on planes, sometimes you just get a sandwich that's wrapped up in a bit of cling film or in a bag, or maybe it's just a muffin. So they'd gone to quite a lot of effort and they'd actually done quite a good job. So I think my original score, which I'll withhold at this stage, I don't really want to disclose it, I'm going to change it, I want to upgrade it, and I'm going to give the Mile High afternoon tea a very solid 5 out of 10. I would have given it a 6, but they gave me 2 of the same sandwich. I think that was something that definitely could have been improved upon. So that's my overall score. Let's get back to me on board. I've enjoyed it, it's been fun. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Please subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and I will see you again on the next video.